taking over. Out of space, going solar. Back then they showed no love. Punch drunk, hungover. Punch drunk, hungover on love. I had to learn to read between the lines.
Good morning and welcome to Between the Lines, a Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection production that's now proudly a part of the larger Shipyard Sports Network. It's Sunday, April 12th, and we're bringing it to you live from our Body Armor Coca-Cola studios at USA Today's #1 ranked sports bar in the nation, Ferg Sports Bar and Grill. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined by my co-host Jake. There's plenty of sports news to talk about this morning, so without wasting any more time, I'd like to get into our Body Armor Chasing 162 discussion, where we talk about all things baseball, starting with the Tampa Bay Rays, whose home you can see right behind us as we speak. I mean, how about those Rays?
It's exciting to be back, and we were actually there for the first game back, home opener on April 6th, last Monday. You know, they had a show going down here. We appeared on it for a little bit, got into the game around 3:40, a little bit late, had some ticketing issues, also had some appearance issues with somebody else going with us. But just the atmosphere for that game was unmatched. Playing at Tropicana Field it's a different experience from any other ballpark that I've been to. I've been to, if you count Steinbrenner Field now, 4 MLB stadiums, and I'm gonna be honest. There's things about the Trop that are good, and there's things about the Trop that are bad. I'll say this, kind of the Trop from the outside might not look the best, but inside, it's probably the best experience. Even in Colorado, I was burning. It was about 95 degrees in Colorado when I went. Beautiful stadium. Not more beautiful than the Big T, though. Tropicana Field just does it better.
Absolutely. And when you listen to what I'm saying about MLB stadiums, take it with a grain of salt. The only major league stadium I've seen an actual game played at is Tropicana Field, if you don't count Steinbrenner. If you do count Steinbrenner, then Steinbrenner as well. But other than that, I've mainly been to minor league parks. I've been to the Asheville Tourists. They're a minor league affiliate of the Houston Astros. Their stadium's pretty nice, but yeah, even in just outdoor stadiums in general, you come into a lot of different issues with the weather, with delays. You always have to have a tarp on the field for any type of rain delay, any type of major weather pickup. You have to be able to prevent any sudden things changing. There's a lot of delays. You don't see that with Tropicana Field very often, if at all, because there's a roof over it. You don't have to deal with the Florida rain in the summer that comes out of nowhere, and it's a tropical storm within 30 minutes. But yeah, it's always a temperature-controlled environment. I mean, I feel like if you ask the players themselves where they like playing the most, I mean, Tyler Glasnow talked, he did talked numbers about how the Trop, assisted his playing early in his career. Something about how it was the movement of their balls is different when you're on a certain elevation, and the mix of the elevation of the Trop mixed with just the indoor, temperature controlled environment, it always assisted pitchers. Pitchers always have, what people say are really good games in the Trop because of those factors, especially if they're comfortable and acclimated to those, specific conditions, which overall can benefit your team on any given day. And that's really what you are looking for. You're looking for any piece advantage that you can take away from a game, and that's kind of what we've seen out of this this starting rotation. I feel like since they've been back at the Trop, they've looked pretty good.
Yeah, and Nick Martinez is somebody who, just going, if I had to pick one player that really has impressed me so far this season, it's got to be Nick Martinez. Looking at what he did through spring, probably close to a 15 ERA, has really dialed it in, had a good start yesterday against the Yankees, had a little bit of a walk issue, which we haven't seen from him in the first 2 games, but a ton of really impressive outings out of Nick Martinez so far, which is something that I was not expecting coming into the season.
Absolutely. The Rays brand of baseball that they've been playing recently, it does not look like the Rays at all, I have to say. The bats have been looking a lot better, whereas the defense has kind of been lacking behind a little bit. It's usually the complete other way around. It seems like the Rays are, impeccably, foundationally sound on defense, but then their bats are kind of where the questions start to, come up. But recently,
and the bullpen's also been struggling, something that's not characteristic of the Rays. Yes, last year, being at Steinbrenner Field, was obviously just a complete weird year in total. Everything was off. But now, going back to the Trop, you'd expect things to start to, kind of become normal. But now, even in this pitcher-friendly ballpark, the hitters are starting to take control and, in a turf field, there's still the defense has been shaky. There's, it like you said, it's just weird seeing them hit the ball really well but not play well defense. And that's something that they came into the year, kind of hoping for. They kind of said that we don't expect this to be an elite offensive team, but this is going to be a very good defensive team, and we're going to get back to the Rays brand of baseball. And it just seems like it's it's not even going wrong. It's just going differently to how everybody expected.
Absolutely. If in November 2024, and I've said this a couple times off camera, if in November 2024 I told you that the first Tampa Bay Ray to hit a home run back in Tropicana Field once the roof was, put back on was Cedric Mullins, the center fielder, the switch hitter for the Baltimore Orioles at the time. I mean, I feel like you would have looked at me like I had a third eye just because that statement is so odd. But I mean, if you look at the brand of baseball that the Rays have been playing, for the start of this season, Cedric Mullins is the type of guy that, fits that mold, I mean, he's never been yeah, he's an all right defender, but it's really his bat that, you're paying him for. And I mean, he's kind of looked like the rest
Horrible.
of the Rays. I mean, he's looked horrible, but we did see him hit that home run on opening day.
That was pretty nice.
Which was pretty nice.
That was
besides
the last thing
that,
I was expecting.
yeah, that was the
Cedric
last thing I was expecting. Obviously, the junior home run and then the Jonathan Aranda to close off the slugfest for the night on that Cubs victory. But yeah, that was an incredible series just over. I mean, not an incredible series. I'll say an incredible game led to a kind of a rough series against the Cubs on the back end of that. But they're up 2 on the Yankees right now. They play at 140 today, right over there at the Gray Lady Tropicana Field. They are up 2 on the Yankees. And the Yankees lead the AL East.
I've got a discussion for you, and this is a discussion that actually, I'm going to say this is a discussion that probably every Rays fan has had. What is your opinion on the lineup construction so far this season?
Well, we had kind of a prerequisite discussion centered around this going into the MLB season.
Now that we've seen it into play, there's a lot of things that a lot of Rays fans are not happy with how the lineup has been constructed.
Yeah, now that we've seen it into play, I mean, I feel like everyone's kind of on the same page. Simpson should be at the 1 spot. You want to get your guy that can, run the bases, can get on base. If you get Chandler Simpson in scoring position, I mean, all you need is a sacrifice hit out to center, out to left, out to right, whatever, and you got to score. And I don't know. I feel like Kevin Cash is kind of reluctant to do that because what he's had so far has had some minor success. He's also been very comfortable putting Yandy at the leadoff spot for the last 3 years. But I don't know.
And if you want to run Yandy in the leadoff spot, to me, there's no problem with that. Just Chandler needs to be in the 9 hole then.
Yeah. Because you want to get him right back up before the strongest part of your lineup.
Yeah, you want Chandler to be on base. You want Chandler to hit before your Yandy Diaz, your Jonathan Aranda, and your Junior Caminero. Because if he does, he's going to get on base, maybe even 45% of the time this season with how he's been hitting and with how fast he is and, the lowest strikeout rate in the MLB. And if you can get that guy on base for your 3 best hitters coming up in the lineup, you're going to score more runs. It's not a oh you should. It's a simple concept. It's basic math. The only way you're not is if you have a guy like Hunter Freducia hitting in front of him and Hunter Freducia gets on base blocking Simpson. But even at that rate, then you've got 2 guys on, you've got a guy in scoring position. Like Chandler Simpson he's seriously been unreal to start the year, and there's no reason to have him hitting behind Junior when Junior's honestly, Junior is slow, Yandy is slow, Aranda is slow. The 3 best hitters on your team are slow. And so if Chandler Simpson is hitting behind them, you are now wasting that time by, let's say Junior gets a single and then Chandler gets a single. Chandler now cannot run the bases freely because he's got a slow player in front of him.
Yeah, well, Chandler Simpson right now, he's batting .385 with 3 RBIs, an on-base percentage of .418. Just God, absolute speedster. Once he gets on base, he's a danger. He's a threat. The pitcher's always looking, behind his back. But he's not even, believe it or not, the highest on base percentage of the team. You know who is? Yandy Diaz. Obviously, leaving out Richie Palacios, who hasn't, started really most of the season. But, Yandy Diaz for the starters, the starting lineup, is leading the team in on-base percentage, which, I mean, then kind of goes back to that, Yandy at the leadoff spot. He gets on base. Obviously he can hit the ball to high heavens, but, he's more of a contact guy right now. He's kind of playing his own game and he's doing well at it. But yeah, I do think that it would be a better idea overall for Chandler Simpson to be at the leadoff spot. It just makes more sense to get your speedster out, or like you said, in the 9-hole. I didn't quite consider that at first, but it definitely makes sense looking at it.
We know Cash loves Yandy in the leadoff spot. We've seen it for, 7 years now at this point of Yandy being in the leadoff spot. It's a good decision. He's going to get on base as well. He's also going to get on base as much as Chandler. So if you want to have that guy, maybe even a double to start the game, unlike Chandler, who is mainly going to be singles, it's not a bad decision. And then you've got a guy like Chandler still getting on base for him after the first round through the order.
Yeah, but then it kind of comes back to that point where even though it makes sense on paper to have Chandler Simpson in that 9-hole, it kind of comes to a question of when will he eventually get in? Because there's a chance if he's in that 9 spot, he doesn't even see the first 2 innings. So, then that becomes a question of if he's one of our best scorers, which he really is. Look at last night. Even though it was Jonathan Aranda getting on first base, he scored off of it. And he's really one of our best scorers, and you want your best scorer in the game on the bases early. So then it really does only make sense to put him at the 1 spot. But then, it's kind of like a paradox. You get back to that point where, Kevin Cash is, he wants Yandy at the 1 spot, or he wants a power bat to start lead off the game. It doesn't really make sense.
I'll say this. If you're facing a righty, throw Chandler in the leadoff. If you're facing a lefty, throw Chandler in the 9-hole. It makes the most sense to let him see the easy side pitcher first, and the less when it's, hard side lefty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I do have some good news regarding lineup construction, as today Chandler will be in the leadoff spot facing against Cam Schlittler.
Oh man, he's already listening to us. Wow.
Yeah. I think this is the second time this season
I think so.
for leadoff. Yeah. Second time this season for leadoff, and then we're gonna go into Junior Caminero, who struggled a little bit this season. Still has a 700 OPS, which is over. Actually, I don't even want to say that. Oh, it's almost double Cedric Mullins, OPS wise. So, I mean, Jesus.
There's a difference in statistics there for sure.
Aranda, who's also had a little bit of a slow start, still has the power, but hitting 232. Then you've got the hottest hitter right now, maybe the MVP of the entire league, Yandy Diaz. Then you go to Jake Fraley, Cedric Mullins, Richie Palacios. So in the 5 to 8 hole, 5 to 7, 5, 6, 7, you've got 3 straight lefties today.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't hate it. I don't hate it because and you obviously heard how I constructed my lineup early in the year. I don't mind kind of the back and forth swing of the lineup. I know it is much preferred and it's kind of unorthodox to say that. And it's kind of preferred to get your hitters mixed as far as when you're constructing a lineup and who's batting left, who's batting right. I don't mind kind of getting into that groove though. I feel like then that leaves you open windows later in the game to put guys in and then make it kind of that staggered left, right, where you're starting off left, right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do believe, later in the game, if they do end up putting a tough lefty in,
it's just,
I'm blanking on every single Yankees reliever right now other than Camilo Doval and David Bednar. But, you can go into a Johnny DeLuca, and then you can go into, a Ben Williamson for Palacios and Mullins, or maybe even Fraley. So you have options there. That's why you carry depth. Is there – I want to hear this. Is there any player who surprised you to start the season? Because
for the Rays?
Yeah.
Honestly,
we talked about the pitcher side. We both agreed Nick Martinez has been really impressive.
I mean, okay, I said this.
Say his name. Ben
Williamson.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I have to say
Oh
because
my gosh.
I have to
This
say it.
guy, bro.
I have to say because at the start of the year, not at the start of the year, sorry, at the opening day at the Trop, I said to Aiden and to you, we were there with Aiden. You know, he's been on the show multiple times. I said to you guys, you know, I really hope Ben Williamson isn't another Cameron Meisner. You know, starts off the season really strong, looks like a guy that can carry us through the season, at least stay consistent, and then kind of falls off near midseason and just we never hear his name again. You know, I really hope he's not like that. And right now, he's not looking like it. I mean,
He's hitting 227.
he's hitting 227, but, you know, I mean, 227 for the Rays lineup in the last 3 years is like median, you know?
I'll say this. There has not been a single person, and there is no if I said going into the year, if this guy hits 230 with 6 home runs, I would be happy.
Mhm.
And it is Nick Fortes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nick Fortes is a clear standout right now.
Nick Fortes has been unreal to start the year. It's not like he's just got, you know, the 300 average. He's got the 300 average. He's got a homer, I believe, already, right?
Nick Fortes, he has one. Yes, he has 1 home run.
Yeah. He's got the homer. He's got the extra base hits. It's not. He's got the exit velos. It's not like he's
1
in
home run,
lucky.
6 RBIs off of 40 at bats
and 4 doubles.
and 4 doubles.
I mean, seriously, like it's
You know, and not only to mention his offense, but I mean, he frames the ball pretty damn well too. Obviously, framing isn't as you know, crucial, you know, when you have ABS, but it's still, I mean, it still is important because there are still calls that go unnoticed. And
I want to say this. I've seen some players complaining about calls while they have challenges left.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yo, jerk off. Challenge it.
Yeah,
Like, bro, I'm being so serious. Like, why as a MLB player are you going to sit there and complain that a guy is making a wrong call and you can literally like just by tapping on your head you can prove him wrong?
Yeah.
You're not going to do it.
yeah. It's just you want to have that confidence in yourself. You want to have that vote of confidence. That's what ABS is. It's giving you a chance to be right. And you know, and stick it to the umpire who typically in the last 100 years of Major League Baseball has been, you know, the one and only, the one that decides everything. Now you have a chance. You have an opportunity to stick it to that guy, and you're literally just complaining to his face. It makes no sense at all. But do you still like the addition of ABS? I love it.
Absolutely.
I think
I-
it's revolutionized the game.
I think a lot of people have changed their mind on it as well. I think a lot of people when they first heard about it, they were like, "Oh, this is just, you know what I mean? You're trying to speed the game up and you're just creating all these delays." Teams like I don't have a number on this, but I'm sure the most amount ever used in a game is probably around 10,
yeah.
right? That's maybe a minute of game time
Yeah.
at the absolute most.
I have to say, and some people have also said, you know, the way that it has decided, I don't know how many it has, but I did see the first game deciding ABS call. You know, it was a walk-off ABS. And I don't know, it's pretty, it feels anticlimactic when a game ends in that fashion. But I have to say, overall, it really isn't that much of a game changer. It's still somewhat satisfying to be able to watch a full entire game, have the conclusion happen. And you know, just because it was an ABS call, it doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? It's still a walk-off win in walk-off fashion, and it doesn't. It's still a game. It's just with correct calls now.
Yeah, and I completely agree, but talking about walk-offs, I think we have to kind of just look at the most recent Rays game and talk about yesterday. How
Man,
about Jazz Chisholm? Walk off on the error from the second baseman, Jazz Chisholm. That
and
was
then when
awesome.
he was asked about it in the locker room, said he had just no clue about it. He had no idea that that's how that worked.
probably getting faded, probably
Yeah.
was
His
probably-
head's probably anywhere but the Rays, but their clubhouse that night.
he was probably thinking about last night's game was late, right?
I do think so. Yeah, it was
He
like
was-
6 p.m. start.
He was probably trying to get home early that way his wife's boyfriend wouldn't get mad at him. That would be my guess.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Probably went home to like watch some Burnt Peanut or something. Like fall asleep to that. But yeah, it just makes no sense as a MLB player of his caliber that he's out here saying stuff like that, just not knowing the game that he literally is paid millions of dollars to play.
And how about him to start the year, huh? 52 at bats, 173, no home runs,
Man,
three
generational.
RBIs. His wife's boyfriend must be pissed at him.
Dude, Jazz Chisholm, Great Britain legend. Great Britain legend.
I think we're sleeper this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're not, buddy.
Absolutely
no, you're not. not.
And obviously we're just two Rays fans, but look at the series scoreboard.
They might have us in the division right now, but I'll say this. I've seen actual non-Rays fans talk about how the Rays might actually be a top team in the AL.
Yeah, I mean, and we can't really comment on this because we're objective, but like on taking our Rays aspect away, like trying to look at it not objectively, the Rays are a very solid team so far for the talent that they signed and put on the field, like in the offseason.
And and that's kind of why I've been shaky on it. You know, yesterday when I saw that, I read it out to one of my friends that I was talking to, and I was like, this team just doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Like when you watch this team.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a second of technical difficulties. That was just some Wi-Fi errors here at Ferrick Sports Bar and Grill, but we are back. It is absolutely no question whether or not we are ready to give you the next half of this show. But yeah, continuing that discussion, you know, I quickly want to jump into something else really quickly, if you don't mind.
Okay, and then I've got something after that.
Well, it was something that you brought up before the show, and I want you to talk about.
I want you to
intro
we're on the
it
same page here.
because I had no clue about this.
And I didn't see the thing is about this, right? And we'll say it in a second. But I didn't see any talk about this leading up into the season. I didn't see any talk about this leading up to the game.
I don't think the Rays ever said anything.
I don't think they did. The Rays have changed their City Connect jerseys.
Yeah, it's not big enough to where, you know, both of us we didn't at first think to say, hey, this is a definite difference. But when you look at the pictures, the side-by-side comparison, and when you actually, you know, even see it, I mean, it makes complete sense.
The Rays have changed the color of the jersey numbers. And I know saying that out loud, it seems insignificant, but it went from
It's night and day.
what I mean, what would you call it? Clear?
It was kind of a charcoal
It was
clear.
like clear. It was matching with the rest of the jersey.
Yeah, it was
originally.
transparent. It was transparent.
Yeah, it was transparent with the rest of the jersey. Now it is fully colored in green, and I've got to say, it makes the jerseys look way better. It
makes the jerseys pop.
They were
for
a
sure.
10 out of 10 before. They are a 12 out of 10 now. I've got to say, I hated the way that the number 13 looked. Not even, you know, it could have been anybody. It could have been Chaz Rowe wearing number 13
Yeah.
for the Rays last year. I did not like the font on number 13. Seeing it now in the City Connect jersey, it is a way better font now.
Absolutely.
And You know, I'll put up a picture when I clip this later, but it's seriously unreal how much better the jerseys look now. They look it looks more full. I'll say that.
It looks more full. They pop more when you see them initially. It's much easier to tell, like not tell who's who when you're looking at the field, but it's much
It
easier
makes
to
it pop more.
yeah, it makes it pop more. It makes it stand out. You know, it's just like and something else I can imagine when those jerseys get signed. Oh, holy cow! On the numbers. Oh
man.
wow! I bet it's so perfect.
Fine, Junior.
Yeah, someone get us a signed Junior jersey so we can have it on the show and let you guys know how it looks. But yeah, no, it was an amazing addition. The Rays, we can't get enough of it. Stuff like that. I wonder if that's also part of the Ken Babby effect. I wonder if he saw the City Connect jerseys as he was walking by one day and just said, no, we need to change the color of those.
I mean,
that was another thing. Talking about the Tropicana Field opening day, the atmosphere at Tropicana Field is I think you touched on this briefly. It is unparalleled. You know, they literally have an ATV now that goes around the warning track and literally shoots in like a machine gun style shirts into the stands with like a CO2 cannon firing, gas. It's crazy. It's so energetic. It feels like, and this is a compliment, but in a lot of minor league games, they have to overplay it. They have to give you something to come because a lot of families that are coming, they're coming for a special, some food, some fireworks after the game, some shirts, something like that. Because, really, if the viewer base or the fan base for those games was just based on the people that are actually there to watch prospects, there wouldn't be that many people.
Hey, I'll tell you this.
I would go.
If I could go watch Daniel Pierce, Brennan Summerhill, Tatum Gray, and who's the other guy that's been on fire recently? There's some minor leaguers in the Rays system, and we'll actually talk about that later.
Yeah.
But there are some minor leaguers that have been going crazy recently. And I mean, we'll definitely touch on that later. But kind of getting back into a little bit of a jersey discussion. One, I've got to buy a City Connect jersey again.
Oh yeah.
I have a Shane McClanahan. I have a Shane McClanahan one, but now that those numbers are like that, I don't know. I mean, probably a Yandy Diaz. I've got to get a Yandy Diaz jersey. I've got a fake jersey. Looks like crap. City Connect. Coloring's all off. It's the only bad fake one I have. You wouldn't be able to tell for any other one. But
yeah, so are you saying like all your jerseys are fake?
No.
Oh, okay.
Only the ones that I've bought.
Oh, okay.
My mom's bought me all real ones, but gotta save a few bucks myself.
Really quickly, not to take away from that. Drew Rasmussen, congratulations on having a child. Couldn't start the other night. Personally, if I was Drew Rasmussen's child and I found out like 15 years later, or like I guess 17 because I'm 17 now. If I was Drew Rasmussen's child like 17 years later and I found out that he like missed a start to come to my birth.
No, it's not just the regular start. It's the first start back at the Trop.
The first start back at the Trop. His first ever start back at the Trop since the roof was blown off in October, of 2024. I would be very upset. That's all. But congratulations to Drew Rasmussen and his wife on the new child. That is so awesome. We are so, it's such a great place to have a kid. I can vouch for them and raise one.
You got experience with having kids here?
No, I got an experience being one here. And it's definitely a great place to grow up, especially when you're a Rays fan. But yeah, congratulations to them.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add or?
No. I want to get into a little bit. We were talking about the City Connect jerseys and a conversation that I've kind of seen recently, and I want to know your thoughts on this. There's some speculation that a rebrand is coming to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Would you say rebrand? Like a complete rebrand?
Like changing every single jersey, moving away from
Rays?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when
will still be called the Rays. They're assuming. I don't remember where, because you remember earlier, right? Probably a few weeks before the season, the Rays did a poll on social media, and they said which jerseys would you guys like?
Oh yeah, no, I voted in that. I remember. Yeah, I voted for the ones with the color in the Devil Rays with the ones in the.
I'll say this. people are starting to believe that the Rays won't go back to the Devil Rays name, but they're going to go back to the Devil Rays jerseys
Mhm.
with just Rays on them. What
What
would
do
your
you
thoughts
mean?
be on that? And so instead of here, I'll see if I can pull up
So
a
no
picture.
Devil Ray logo?
No Devil Ray logo. It would just be getting rid of basically just the word devil, but going back to the old Devil Ray jerseys,
Like the old Rays?
where kind of like the throwbacks we wear right now.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
would be like a primary jersey for us now.
I wouldn't hate that.
I mean, I like our
I-
jerseys now.
Okay, listen.
But I think those Devil Rays jerseys with, the colors going from purple to green or whatever.
I have to say, there's one thing that they can't ever get rid of. I don't think that would kind of cause some issues.
They already got rid of the gray homes. Those were awesome.
I
love
love the
gray
gray
jerseys.
homes. I love the gray jerseys. But something they can't get rid of is the classic TB on the hat, on the cap. Which that would probably be something they would talk about, but that's just it's like too classic to the team. It's like okay, obviously when I say this, people are gonna be like, whoa, what do you mean? It's completely different, which it is. I'm not directly comparing them, but the New York Yankees, the NY, that is a hallmark of New York. That is a hallmark of not even just New York. That's a hallmark of baseball. The New York Yankees NY is associated with baseball in foreign countries. When people see that, they just think, oh, baseball, Yankees, the American sports. The Tampa Bay, the TB is so iconic, I feel like, to the Rays. Obviously, the history is shorter by about 90 years or so. But, I still think that TB is so iconic to the upbringing of the modern St. Pete.
And these new owners are in, they're in touch. They're not
They're
going to
in
get rid of
touch,
that.
for sure.
I think they realize how much people love those Devil Rays jerseys, and I think when it did get changed in 2008, I think if we did go back to Devil Rays, I think a lot of people would complain about it. Even though we wear jerseys that say Devil Rays, just having the word Devil in your team name, some people they're it sounds silly to say, but there are genuinely people who wouldn't take their kids to games anymore because they're extremely religious, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that is
everyone's
just how
different.
it goes.
Yeah.
So, still seeing if I could pull up a picture here. I don't know if I can, but
If you can, it's all right.
It's really just all the old Devil Rays jerseys except for the green ones, I believe. Those, I would love to see those come back for at least a game or two, but
if the green ones came back, they would have to do something like for me personally, obviously this is a bit much, especially when you have 162 games and you can't change stuff that much. But you know how the Buccaneers will change some banners for when they make the creamsicles, when they bring back the creamsicles. I feel like they would have to change some things back to like that green color in the stadium, just a couple things here and there when they bring back those jerseys.
This would probably be a big task, but
or like the
imagine
screen
changing the
designs.
wall.
Yeah, the wall, or even just putting a tarp over it.
Yeah, that would be unreal to see that back.
Yeah, because I feel like something that's really big right now, with sports as a whole, sports teams, is throwbacks to the classics, throwbacks to where we came from.
This would
Absolutely.
essentially.
I actually don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
That would essentially be, I'm assuming you can also do a gray version of that. There's some.
I did grow up with the burst though. I do love the burst.
There we
go. I do love the burst a lot. I think people are quite mixed on the burst. I think a lot of people actually don't love the burst. Of course, the sunburst logo.
Some other colors for it.
I do like that. I have to say, it works.
These are some speculations of people, no confirmed rebuilds.
And then, because most of the time when teams have their name on their jersey, when they go their away jerseys will have their city on them.
Yeah.
So would we have Tampa Bay?
I would love to see Tampa Bay back on the Rays jerseys. But one discussion that I've seen a lot of recently with, every single one of them getting leaked. We've talked a lot about jerseys today, now about the Rays. I kind of want to bring it into an entire MLB sense and then bring it back into the Rays. Talking about the City Connects here. Every single City Connect for this year has been leaked.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, the only jersey I can remember that didn't get leaked early was the Tampa Bay Rays.
Cool.
And I'll also say this.
I still remember when they were announced that we were getting a City Connect.
Oh man.
I was because It seems like sometimes with the Tampa Bay teams, because, and not to make a tangent of your point, I'm gonna let you get right back to it. It kind of almost seems like we don't get the things that major market teams get, even though we are, the Bucks are a major market team, the Lightning are especially a major market team in the NHL. It feels like we don't really get some of the big things that other teams get. When we got the City Connect, especially because it's in St. Pete, it's the Rays. And it was styled to the Rays in like the St. Pete skating and skate park scene. Dude, I remember I was so unbelievably psyched. It just felt like we really got a good one,
Yeah.
which we did.
And, talking about a good one, I'll say this. There hasn't been a City Connect released since the Rays or before the Rays that's been better than the Rays.
I don't think so.
There's a few conversations. There's been some good ones, but
Who's your runner up to the Rays City Connect?
it's got to be the Padres easily.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I love pink and teal. Those are like, those are two colors that are kind of opposites, but I think they just blend together so well. I've got to get one of those jerseys, even though they've gotten rid of them, I believe.
I gotta say, one of my personal favorites. I think people don't really like these that much, but I personally do like them. The Cincinnati Reds. I like their Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati's their City Connects.
I like their old ones.
The bold like text.
Yeah,
like, it's sick.
They've gotten new ones already. I don't know if you've seen them. They're kind of similar, to be honest.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I have.
But I actually have one of those old ones. I have an Ellie De La Cruz jersey.
Yeah, Ellie was one of the reasons I liked him so much, because he just looks so good slugging the ball on those the City Connects.
But also, I've seen some people say I believe every 3 years you get a new one. With it, it's still early on. I think it's only been 5 years, but the Rays got to keep theirs. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
but this is the new Reds one.
Those are so cool. Oh no, those got better. That's so.
You think so?
I think so. I love that C.
I will say this
because I do like the Cincy.
I would like for the stripes, the black stripes, pinstripes to be darker.
Yeah.
To make it pop more. Baltimore suck.
Baltimore's are pretty bad.
Baltimore's are horrible.
And I love Baltimore. I mean, sorry. I don't love the Orioles. I love Baltimore as a city. Those do not represent Baltimore as a city at all. I don't think.
I mean, to me, the colors, like, they're not necessarily the worst jerseys I've ever seen, but Be More
is a pretty big thing in Baltimore.
Seriously?
Be More is a pretty big thing in Baltimore.
But you're gonna put Be
You know what? Okay,
dude.
Listen,
it
if
looks
I
like
had
s'mores.
Okay, and don't ask me, because obviously I'm a Rays fan. I am in the AL East division, so like take what I say with a grain of salt if you're a Baltimore fan. If I had to do something for the City Connect, the city, which emphasizes which city you play in, Baltimore is called Charm City. Do something with Charm City. That's so sick. You have so many great opportunities. That is an opportunity left. That is a stone left unturned for the Baltimore Orioles there. Charm City, the Charm City Connects. That would be crazy.
I mean, all I've seen in terms of the Orioles is that they look like s'mores.
Yeah.
It looks like you put s'mores on your jersey, and it's not that good. To me, Atlanta's
just lazy. It's literally the All-Star jersey.
It's not even that.
Look at the A. Look at the A on the cap.
Yeah,
it's just the AL All-Star.
And their ones before, the ones that they had originally, were literally just their throwback jerseys.
Yeah.
And then they went to this, which is just the throwback jerseys, just putting Atlanta on the front.
Okay, I have a question really quick.
Yep.
All sports, considering all sports, which city has the best jerseys?
It's Pittsburgh.
Do you think Pittsburgh?
And I'll say, actually, it's funny that you say that.
With the Steelers and their throwbacks with the boxes on them?
Okay. If we're
just
going
for those,
okay.
they're out of the conversation.
Let me tell you why I say that. Look at I'm going to use Tampa as an example because we are in Tampa Bay. Take a look at the Rays and take a look at the Lightning. How sick is it that they both wear the same color scheme?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, right? Like if you wear, I saw this conversation. If
they're
you wear
different
Rays,
blues,
if you buy,
but like yes,
but
I agree.
It's still, you know what I mean?
Blue and white.
Yeah. If you get a blue Rays hat, you can wear that to a Lightning game.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot wear that to a Bucks game and have it match with the rest of your outfit.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Pittsburgh, the Pirates, the Penguins, and the Steelers all have the exact same color scheme.
Yeah.
How sick is that?
That is pretty cool.
And let me tell you this. I saw somebody say you got to rebrand all of them to get everybody. No. if I catch either the Rays or the Buccaneers wearing the opposite of blue or red,
Mm-hmm.
no. It's,
Yeah.
it's too late. If you did that back in the 1900s or back, whenever all these teams were created, 1998, 1976, it would have fit, but no.
Yeah, it's
There
too
is
far
just
gone.
no way you can go from red to blue.
So, you
with the
actually,
Bucks.
you might kind of, I don't know. This might be a bit of a question. I really like Seattle's uniforms.
Yeah,
I like.
Seattle does the same thing. They're
Yeah.
all kind of teal. They're all kind of blue.
That's what I was
Actually,
gonna say.
and I would say this. I think Seattle, in terms of uniforms, is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Because-
Seattle.
Because you got the Seahawks. The Seahawks throwbacks are some of my personal favorites.
Mhm.
When the Bucks played the away creamsicle game against the Seahawks, beating the Super Bowl champs Seahawks, in the throwback jerseys, when it was the white creamsicles on the Seattle Seahawks throwbacks, that was just one of my favorite things that's happened in so long. And that wasn't even our only throwback on throwback game that year, because then at home we played the Falcons, which was throwback on throwback, which we were there for.
Oh,
That was,
God.
that was a bad game, but I wouldn't have traded being there. Like, I loved being there, truly,
Yeah.
especially getting to see Mike that last time.
I will say this. That was the loudest stadium I've ever been to.
Yeah, well, not me, but
Yeah, you went to an Eagles playoff game.
yeah,
There's no beating that. But
when we beat the Eagles, which was
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
cow.
getting back to City Connects, though. Milwaukee Brewers.
Milwaukee Brewers, they somehow
Wisco.
Okay, listen.
Horrible.
Just
Bottom
for
of
that,
barrel.
they should get that magic where they somehow get to 90 wins every year. They just break it. They should not get
It's
that.
like what we did 2 years ago.
Yeah, they don't deserve it anymore.
San Diego.
I
not
mean,
bad.
it's not bad.
I don't hate it. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing that's like good about it.
Yeah,
Pirates, they're just regular Pirates.
it's
jerseys,
literally
man.
just their
Just
regular
kinda
jerseys, but
change the
like
font.
if yeah,
I saw somebody Photoshop this being an entire royal blue jersey. Best thing I've ever seen. This is okay. There's
genuinely
nothing good about this.
I have to say this. I genuinely hate this jersey. I genuinely hate the
I
Kansas
could see
City
where you
Royals
come
City
from.
Connect.
I could see where
It
you come
literally,
from on
to
that.
me, okay, listen. To me, it literally looks like a Temu generic baseball. Like, you looked up baseball jersey on Temu, and that was the first thing that came up.
I've got bad news for you. You think this is bad? I intentionally went out of the way on the screenshot to show the worst one for last. Are you
Really?
ready for this?
Because I haven't seen these yet.
The Texas.
This is a blind reaction, yo.
Texas Rangers.
Tejas.
I mean, seriously, dude. This is the worst jersey I've ever seen.
I mean, it's boring.
And who is this guy? Why is
I don't
Corey
know.
Seager? Why is Corey Seager not the one?
You know what it
demonstrating
reminds
the
me of?
jerseys?
Why did they literally just take? Okay, we're all familiar with Trevor Bauer, right? When he played in Mexico,
Oh my god!
you know the Mexican team he played for.
Yes.
Why did they just take their jerseys?
And right, Tejas on. it.
Tejas, yo, bro, you misspelled Texas. Yo, you think they know?
Like, dude,
Yo, bro,
it's seriously horrible.
that's so bad. That's comical. Okay, quickly. I would just like to remind everyone that you are listening to Between the Lines, a Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection production backed by the Shipyard Sports Network, brought to you by Body Armor, live from Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill across from Tropicana Field in the Edge District of St. Petersburg, Florida. There is a game being played today against the New York Yankees. We are up 2 on the series. And Jake, there has been so much good discussion about jerseys. We have talked nonstop about those for the last little bit. I do want to get into our Buccaneers offseason discussion really quickly, though, because there is a little bit to talk about.
And then we got to get into some prospect talk. with the
Absolutely.
Tampa Rays.
Absolutely.
But
We'll jump back to
We got to
that.
get some Buccaneers in here because we've talked all baseball today.
Yeah, dude. I just have to say, our interior defensive line depth is extremely
Oh, yeah.
underrated right now.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think people realize quite how loaded it is. Because
You've got a top 6 guy in the league in Vita Vea.
yeah,
You've got Kalijah Cansey, who, in my opinion, needs to kind of move it out into not an edge rusher role, but maybe a little bit more outside.
Yeah.
I don't think I think with the depth that you have at D-line, you've got to kind of get I'm going to be honest, with a Sean Robinson now in here as well. Imagine
A'Shawn.
running a Sean. Imagine getting a 3 defensive line front of those two sitting between the centers and the center and the guards, and then you've got Cansey sitting. If you rush 4 with Cansey, kind of even making Vita Vea the technical edge rusher on the right side, lining him up in the middle though.
Okay.
Boy,
I just want you. Okay, you're an offensive line coordinator. You're an offensive coordinator. You're game planning for the Bucs defensive, the interior front this week, right? On constant rotation, you have to on pass sets. You have to ready your offensive line to play these guys. All right, listen to this. On constant rotation, remember. Kalijah Cansey, the young guy, they compared him to Aaron Donald coming out of Pitt. He's fast as lightning. Obviously, we have to see him coming back off this injury.
I want to say something before we get into the rest of the D-line depth, which is, I'll let you get there. But take a look at Vita Vea's first few years in the league.
Yeah.
Riddled by injuries, was kind of started to turn into this guy of, he plays pretty good when he's on the field, but he's never on the field, and he's also not a superstar. How long do you keep this guy? Look out for Kalijah Cansey. 3 years is how long it took for Vita Vea to start getting, being able to stay healthy too. It does take time for some of these guys, especially at the most physical position like D-line, of, staying healthy, because there is a gap between college and pros. And so something to look out for. Do not count out Kalijah Cansey in terms of injuries yet.
Yeah, people are already trying to write off Kalijah Cansey as another Logan Hall, and I'm just saying, whoa, pump the brakes, because Kalijah Cansey right now is in the seasons that we've seen him play, he hasn't even been bad. He's been playing next to Vita Vea.
He's just okay. That's the thing.
He's been playing next to Vita Vea, who is an all-pro nose tackle who has a very good chance of seeing the Hall of Fame. Maybe not first ballot, but seeing the Hall of Fame someday. Especially if he goes on to play for multiple teams eventually, which I wouldn't like to see. But, can't keep them all.
At this rate, it feels like everybody's going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. It feels like this is probably the last season we were seeing of Vita Vea, just because.
On the Bucs.
Yeah, just because of Mike Evans leaving kind of turned me into this feeling of saying, kind of feel like everybody's going to leave now at the end of their career.
But on constant rotation, you have Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea in the middle. Also, A'Shawn Robinson and Muhammad Al-Quadin, who will be mostly edge, but can get shifted in kind of that Aiden Hutchinson role where he gets shifted into the interior sometimes for some plays, because that's exactly what he did when Aiden Hutchinson was injured last year for the Detroit Lions. He filled in kind of that Aiden Hutchinson mesh, edge rusher interior spot. Then you have Elijah Roberts, the second, sophomore year defensive kind of edge tackle, who is really, he looked so good for a rookie last year.
How about a fifth-round pick?
A fifth-rounder from SMU came out of the gates just looking absolutely strapped up. Looked better than Hassan Reddick, a seasoned veteran.
And he was a guy that I thought we might have went to in the 3rd round. When I saw that he was still available in the 5th, I was begging that we picked him. And boy, oh boy, did we make the right pick.
That's another thing I have to say. Don't sleep on Benjamin Morrison this year. He had a quiet year last year. However, if you watched his film towards the end of the year, every game he was making subtle improvements that, the ball wasn't going his way towards the end of the year. I just have to say that.
And also, if you're a rookie and you've got the ball, or what am I saying? If you're a rookie and you're showing flashes of being good, you're probably going to be pretty good in the league.
Yeah, because
he gave up
as a rookie,
he had some times where he was horrible.
As a rookie, you are literally you were a college student a few months ago. Give it time, right, guys? But then in that rotation, Elijah Simmons, which is whatever. But then
I actually kind of like Elijah Simmons.
I think Elijah Simmons as a depth guy.
Last guy, he's good.
I like him as a depth guy, but not as a rotational guy. So I'm kind of I'm not saying he's going to be super in the rotation. Yeah. Nacho's back, baby.
That was when I heard that. I literally looked at my phone, I got so excited. Hell?
I got excited.
I was like, no, I was excited. I was just like, first of all, I didn't know he was still in the league, to be honest with you.
I did, but I knew he was a free agent. I knew he was a free agent,
but I also knew he was on the Giants. I didn't know I didn't know. I couldn't tell you a single thing he did last year, to be fully honest with you.
He was
But-
really just a good plug and play
But he's honestly
sort of deal.
you look at it and you just named a bunch of guys. If he really is the fifth option. And
No,
what a
I have
fifth
to say,
option.
So
fourth
this
or
is something that we need to recognize, right? If you look at the last two Buccaneers, Super Bowl winning teams, they had something in familiar, right? One, okay, I'm gonna just say this for both of them. In 2002,
Neither of them had Nacho. Or wait, you're saying
no.
I thought you were saying
Listen,
the
listen.
last two Super Bowl winners, like the last two.
No. Last two Super Bowl winners. I'm saying the last two Bucks Super Bowl wins, which is the last two Bucks Super Bowls because they've never lost a Super Bowl, undefeated in the Super Bowl, by the way. Cam Sittler, perfect game incoming. I don't think so. I couldn't disagree more. I have to say, if you look at the last two Bucks Super Bowls, in 2002 they had Warren Sapp, right? Warren Sapp was known as one of the meanest guys in the NFL. Defensive Player of the Year at one
Yep,
point.
I've been
He
thinking
was
about this.
mean. He was nasty. He got in people's faces. But more importantly, he got the defensive line riled up, angry to get to the quarterback. That 2002 defense played like it was mad at the grass. They were so angry.
Isaiah Pacheco plays like he's mad at the grass.
Yeah. Okay. But if you look at 2020, right, we had two guys, Ndamukong Suh and Akeem Nunez Roches. Both of those guys worked overtime to keep the Bucks D line angry and hungry. Honestly, that's the two best
And
adjectives I can use to describe those
looking
guys.
at the Buccaneers defense last year,
They looked uninspired,
They
sad, and
oh
depressed.
my gosh, it was horrible.
I mean,
Like-
it seemed like Hassan Reddick was doing the inverse effect. It seemed like he was introducing to those guys. He was like, guys, it's just football. Don't
Yeah.
worry. It seems like that was his pregame motivation speeches because it was almost like a exponential effect. Like the more Hassan Reddick had involvement with our team, the less I was doing up. The more he was involved, the less our performance went down. It just arced, especially towards the end of the season. It seemed like he was one of the guys that was jogging on the field the most out of anyone. But most importantly, in that 2020 Super Bowl run, Hakeem Nunez Roches started in the Super Bowl. He didn't have the most historic game, but he was there. He was angry. He was riled up, and he was inspiring everyone else to just be better.
I'll
Even
say
if
this.
he's not in the rotation constantly, I think he's a huge locker room piece. Even if he's not that positive, guys, it's okay to do whatever. Guys, it's okay to be this. Guys, it's just be positive. He's an inspirer. He's hungry. He wants to win, and I think that adds a complete, extra set of, game to your ability there.
I'll say this: you just need an asshole on the defense.
Pretty
At the end of the
much.
day, that's all you need. So, getting Raheem Nunez Roches back is a big piece. Whether he plays or not, just having a guy that's going to be a complete jackass on the field.
Absolutely.
Like seriously, that's all you need at the end of the day.
Yeah, you just need a bully. You just need someone that can, when you're watching a game, you want to feel like the guys that are on the field, even if they're losing, that they're in it, that they're trying to win, that they're pulling everything out of the, what they have, what they've trained for, just to come out with the win there. And when it doesn't happen, especially like you saw a lot last season, it's very upsetting. It's disheartening as a fan. But yeah, I think it is time to quickly, we have about 7 minutes left. I do think it is time to get back into some, closing baseball remarks, discussions about prospects, because there is a little bit to talk about with the Rays farm system.
Absolutely, and looking at the farm system, I'll say this: the Charleston River Dogs look good. Caden Bodine is the first guy I want to mention. To start 2020,
It's not Bodine.
Bodine,
I think
maybe,
it's Bodine.
maybe.
Dude, I'm always the one with the names. I don't know why. I'm just weird like that.
First round draft pick from Baltimore last year, hit 344. I would say the biggest piece in the Shane Baz trade. So this is a guy you definitely want to keep a lookout for. 32 at bats, so small sample size. Obviously, we're just getting started.
I'm
especially
sorry. I
with-
just saw the Royals jerseys on the TV and it distracted me. They're so terrible.
okay.
I'm sorry. They're just so awful.
1 home run and a 913 OPS. 22-year-old switch hitting catcher. Phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
A switch hitting catcher. I mean, I think that's been the biggest question. Obviously, we're talking about prospects. We're talking about the farm system right now. But with the Rays, the biggest, insecurity on this team has been the catcher spot for the last couple of years.
Forever.
Forever. Because, the last one, I'm trying to think of the last catcher that we had. Zunino? No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Zunino was really the best one.
Unless you want to count Nick Fortes so far this year.
Nick
I mean,
Fortes this year and Mike Zunino. Like Mike Zunino
Yeah.
was real.
Fortes, it's April 12th.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah. This is a big one. This is maybe the most exciting out of everything. 27 at-bats, 333, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs in 27 at-bats, 10 RBIs. That's outrageous.
Better stat line than Nick Fortes for the most part, but still playing in the minors. So.
Nice. 2 stolen bases and 1,100 OPS. That is your last year's.
2 stolen bases on 1,100 OPS?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
This is Daniel Pierce. First round draft pick last year.
Yeah.
This is a guy that you definitely want to look out for. You know, there is just what a start to the season.
Man,
so far.
The future is bright for the Tampa Bay Rays, especially when you have one of the best farm systems in the MLB. Undisputed. Yeah, there's so much rich talent down in Durham. It's not a question as to where the Rays will be in the next 10 years. But I just want them to win now. I want them to be able to pull out the stops against the Yankees today. You know, if we could clean sweep them, that would be ideal. That would be beautiful. And then, you know, we're at 500 now, I believe, right? Because of last night.
Yeah, 7-7.
We're at 7-7. We're at 500. We're sitting there already looking in postseason form. Already looking end season form. 500.
Another guy, 3rd round draft pick last year, moving to Bowling Green, the Rays High A affiliate. 18 at bats, 333, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Like 7 RBIs and 18 at bats. That's outrageous.
Wow.
1,100 OPS,
17. Wait, 7 RPIs and 18 at bats.
That's seriously unreal. That is Nathan Flewelling. Don't know how to pronounce his last name. 3rd round draft pick last year. Another catcher. How about that?
Hey man,
catchers are hitting good.
Load up the catchers, dude. Load up the catchers. Get us, you know, secure our future for the catchers, and we should be good.
Moving on to Theo Gillen, 23.
Oh, Theo Gillen. Holy cow.
First round draft pick 2 years ago now. What a back-to-back drafts for the Rays.
Theo Gillen's nasty.
Looks like we've gotten some really good players. You know, we'll have to see as they get higher up into the minors, into the majors. But 304, 2 homers, 3 stolen bases, another 1,100 OPS, 7 RBIs, 23 at-bats. Like, seriously.
How's Isaac looking?
Xavier Isaac?
Yes.
I believe he's only in extended spring training right now.
Extended spring training?
Actually, I think he just recently made his debut. I heard he got assigned to the Montgomery Biscuits. I'll go ahead and take a look at that.
Because he was the big story in the offseason, obviously having, you know, brain surgery, you know, which completely, like, wow, just so
1
commendable.
for 12 to start the year.
Okay.
Nothing, I mean.
Obviously, you know,
yeah,
he's had a lot to assess at such a young age. So I am not worried about Xavier Isaac right now. I just want him to get back on, you know, in his flow where he was before that all went down. And yeah, do you have any final prospects to mention?
Just the last bit of news. Last week the Rays sent down Carson Williams, and
yeah, Taylor Walls off the IL. This is gonna be
some news to some people. He's actually been playing second base.
Really?
In the minors, which has a lot of people concerned. They're saying that the Rays might not like his defense in the majors as much as they thought. I don't believe that's the case. I think they're just trying to make him more versatile. And I honestly believe that it's kind of a play to get either Ryan Vilade or Williamson off the roster.
How about Ryan Vilade?
Don't even get me started on him. I guess we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. I mean, you know, don't want to talk about Jake Fraley at all?
Hey, he's hitting above 200 now. How about that?
Hitting above 200? I mean, that's all you want. I mean, you know,
it is not. You want a lot more than that.
Out of Fraley? Out of Jake Fraley?
His defense has impressed me. I don't think he's been a complete...
His hits against the wall? Yeah,
he hasn't been a complete useless player. Oh, last thing I want to mention, since I see Josh Lowe on the screen. Josh Lowe and Nathaniel Lowe both faced off against each other. If you haven't heard, their mother, who, you know, we obviously saw a lot of, not in person, but, you know, was battling cancer. She did unfortunately pass away this offseason. But Josh Lowe hit a homer on Friday. They're playing against each other, Cincinnati Reds and Angels. That's weird to say. But hit a homer, and then Nathaniel Lowe, I believe, hit a either walk-off double or just a double, RBI double. It was
That's
a big
special.
double. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
You know, with their dad in attendance, that's awesome to see.
You love to see it for those guys. Sorry, you love to see it when they're able to succeed after, coming off of something so heartbreaking. But we hope that they're all right and that their family's just doing well, because the time that Josh put in here, will never be forgotten. Honestly, like
2023 was special, man.
2023 was really special.
That was seriously one of the best baseball players I've ever watched.
Absolutely.
2023 Josh Lowe. Wow, first half 2023. Just the whole team. Oh.
Well, that will be it for Between the Lines this episode. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this week's episode. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube to be in the know when we go live every Sunday from 11 to 12. As always, have an amazing week, and remember to read between the lines.